Dark Souls 1 is the foundation for the rest of the Soulsborne franchise. It is also home to where we get some of the best bosses in all of the series. In today's video, we will be going over 10 of the easiest bosses in Dark Souls 1. This is my personal thoughts, and this list will start at number 10, being the hardest of the bosses on the list, all the way to the easiest at number 1. Please feel free to leave your list in the comments and let me know what you think. It's also important to know I am including runbacks to this boss, so that means someone like Capra Demon, who is an easy boss, will not make this list because of his runback. Starting off at our number 10 spot, it will be going to the 4 Kings. Now the reason for them being on this list at all, well, the fight is actually pretty easy. The 2 attacks of the grab and the purple Hellstorm missile of absolute destruction are kind of bad, sure, but other than that, it's literally a DPS check. Also, if another king spawns, he kind of respects the 1v1 until it's his time to jump in. But the reason he is so low on this list, well, the runback. It's a little difficult of the fight, but the runback sucks. Honestly, I don't know the runback time, but the 4 Kings easily has to be one of the most aggravating runbacks in the entirety of Dark Souls 1. You spawn in Firelink if you die, running all the way through New Lundo just to have a chance at still dying and doing it over again. Anyway, these bosses hit pretty hard, but for the most part are just a simple DPS check. Number 9 is the Sanctuary Guardian. Yes, this includes DLC by the way, but Sanctuary Guardian is not a hard boss at all. He has about 2 moves that if you're careful of, you can dodge pretty easy, and he has a super small HP pool for where he is in the game's progression. Where he does get difficult is his aggressiveness and how he can hit like a truck. Apart from that though, if you can simply dodge him a few times, it'll leave him very susceptible to damage, and other than maybe his lightning balls, he's a pretty easy boss with a big role in introducing us to how the rest of the DLC will go. Number 8, I'm going to have to say the Iron Golem. I know this might be controversial, and by the way, this list was so incredibly hard to make. Like, truthfully, in this list, it kind of depends on the playthroughs and the builds you are using. Anyway, Iron Golem has a few things going for him. The first, the bomber up top. If you don't kill him prior to the fight, Iron Golem is a horrible fight. That does land him some extra spots to be up here, but also I'm sure you're all aware of the cheese strat to kill him, but if you're not, it involves hitting one of his legs until he stumbles over and falls off the back of the bridge. Unfortunately, this means a few things. One, you have to invite yourself to also maybe falling off, and he has some weird attacks. His foot can move you, and in order to dodge, you likely have to go through his legs. While doing this though, you have to be very careful he does not grab you and throw you off the map. Oh, and by the way, when his foot does move you, it can also throw you off the map. Other than that, he does a good bit of damage, and for this reason, he ends up at number 8 on our list. At number 7, I have the Gwendolyn boss fight. Now, Gwendolyn is not hard, not easy, until you see the 3 attacks he can do. The issue with this fight is how patient you have to be at times, especially if you are like me and suck at dodging his volley attack. Other than that, the hardest part is simply getting sufficient damage off and not greeting by unnecessarily running out of cover. On top of this, he does not have a lot of health. He's very susceptible to bleed damage, so any bleed weapon will shred through him, and when you get there to do damage, it is still possible to hit him even if his character model already teleported away. Not to mention, it's also possible to run to the end of the arena. Apparently, I guess. I can't say I've done it, but I believe it, to be honest. Real quick before we go on, this video is not sponsored, but I just ask that if you guys do enjoy the content, please use your hype on this video. It's down by the subscribe button. It really helps the channel get pushed to new people, so if you do enjoy it and would like to support me, that is the best way to do so. Also, if you are new here, please subscribe for more, as I am on the road to 5,000 subscribers. I truly appreciate it. Anyway, thank you, and back to the video. Next on my list is Ceaseless Discharge. Now listen, you could put him at number 1 easiest due to the cheese, but we're taking everything into account here. Ceaseless legit is not too hard. He has very heavy hitting attacks, but he telegraphs and is easily countered once given the right practice. The main reason he is so low on the list is due to the cheese. We all know it. Run around, slam fists, hit him a few times, and profit. Like, when is the last time you or anyone you know did Ceaseless legit? Exactly. Halfway through this list, our number 5 spot is the Gargoyles. Honestly, I think this is the hardest boss placement on this list. They're kind of in the middle because how early game they are. So on one hand, you can get very overgeared before you fight them and nullify all the difficulty of the fight, while on the other, you can fight them on level, and this makes the duo fight actually a solid duo fight. This is because the first gargoyle is still living when the second one gets there. From here, the fight is actually pretty hard, but once you notice they have very punishing patterns, such as the fire breathing, the fight becomes way less intimidating. Also, they stagger super easily, within like 3 hits being all it takes to stagger them. It is pretty easy to split them as well, and once they are split, punishing them gets a lot easier. So let's assume you upgrade before fighting the gargoyles. In this world, the first one will likely get staggered and then die 2 hits later before the second one can even spawn in. This makes it a very easy fight. I get for a newer player it might be a difficult fight, but once you get over the initial fear of it, it becomes pretty easy, just tedious if you don't overgear yourself. Moving on to our number 4 slot with the Fire Sage Demon and the Stray Demon. I know, 2 bosses in one. They're kind of the same boss though, so like they're in the same placement. I didn't want to spread 2 of the same bosses out in one list since they're so similar. Like, you get it, right? Thank you. These bosses are pretty easy once you learn the gimmick of the red explosion. That's about all they have to offer. They are super tanky, but with the right build become super vulnerable to bleed damage. And apart from this, the hardest part is not clipping yourself on a pebble inside the arena. Seriously, if you have a brain, you will not get hit by the AoE attack unless you trip on a pebble or stupidly greed for damage. They're easy enough because you can actually loop them fairly easily. Simply run out whenever an AoE attack happens, run back in, and rinse and repeat. These bosses are then made into a joke. Seriously, the hardest part of these fights is literally the arena management. Anyway, for the first of the top 3 easiest bosses in the game, Gaping Dragon will be leading us off. So let's start with his moveset that consists of about 3 attacks. I know it's more than that, but I've never seen him do anything besides running at you, jumping in the air, or slamming his noggin down on the ground. And with that, using any weapon, Gaping Dragon has very little difficulty. The only reason this fight would ever be hard is due to the channeler up top. He can buff the boss, making him do more damage, and he will shoot you as you are fighting the boss in the arena. So as long as you go out of the way to kill him prior to the fight, it is super easy. And even if you leave him alive, you can just run to the back of the boss arena and the channeler won't be able to hit you anymore. Our number 2 spot is going to go to the Taurus Demon. I know, another early game boss, but the game wants you to beat this one so badly. It starts off by letting you get a free plunging attack for nearly half his health. You could easily take him out in like 3 hits if you really wanted to do it this way, but the game gives you gold pine resin for more weapon damage just before entering the fight. Along with this, he takes bleed damage and can easily be staggered as well as easily be cheesed to fall off the map. Literally my first ever introduction to this boss, I accidentally got him to jump off the map. On accident. I didn't know it was even possible. That being said, he's pretty easy. As far as his attacks go, they're well telegraphed, and even for a new player, this fight is not bad at all. And finally, I know you were all waiting for it, the easiest boss in Dark Souls. It's not even close. Pinwheel. I know some of you are going to comment, oh, but I ran there after I got to Firelink. Good for you. Number 1, you're a masochist. How do you enjoy not being able to warp out of the catacombs? Number 2, that's a you thing. That's a thing you do on special occasions. If you play the game at a normal pace, by the time you get to Pinwheel, any weapon will kill him in less than 10 hits. Even if not, it's not like he's hard to dodge. He literally spawns other Pinwheels that you kill in 1 hit, and they shoot fireballs that don't do a lot of damage and are pretty easy to dodge. I will say though, his boss cutscene is pretty cool, but Pinwheel is just the meme of Dark Souls 1, so I'm sure you all saw this placement coming. Anyway, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you did enjoy, and also please comment your list down below. I'm genuinely curious. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.